The action begins in a city cafe, where the main character is waiting for a blind date at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was a manga author, and while he drank his coffee, he looked through the comments section of his work and drawings. While looking through the comments, he came across one very strange comment, where it was said that if he returned home at night today, he would die. The guy said that as a manga author, he can guarantee the quality of his product, but he cannot guarantee the brains of his readers. He really wanted a very beautiful girl to come on a date with him during these thoughts. A girl came up to him and greeted him. At the same time, calling him his husband, the guy clearly did not expect such a turn of events. He did not understand what was happening at all. Without explaining anything to him, she only said that she was his future wife, and he was the future king. The guy felt a little sorry. Such a beautiful girl and no brains. Does she really think that he will believe in this show? After such a strange date, the guy returned home and went to bed. But at 12 o'clock at night, he heard some strange sounds. He saw in front of him some terrible monster in a female guise and couldn't believe his eyes. Was that girl really telling the truth? After that, a notice appeared in front of him that all of humanity had only one choice. He only had the opportunity to choose one type of cultivation, demonic or divine. The cafe where this guy was sitting was called Unexpected Love. He thought it was the perfect place for a blind date. The main character's name is Kai. He is 21, and he is an ordinary manga author. It was an ordinary day. The guy was reading comments on his manga and came across a strange comment. Having logged into this person's account, he saw that there was nothing there. The account was completely empty, as if it had been created recently. He was surprised that there were such crazy people in this world, but did not attach much importance to it. Looking at the time, he saw that the girl still had not arrived, so he thought that he had already been turned away. When someone walked into the cafe, Kai thought it wasn't such a big deal since blind dates don't always work out. Besides, he still needed to finish 2 new chapters, otherwise the editor would turn into a feisty dog. Suddenly, some attractive blonde walked into the cafe. Looking at her, Kai wondered if such a beauty could be the one he was waiting for on a date. And then, in his mind, he said that he should not expect so much, because such girls are often surrounded by rich guys. Thinking about this, he still watched her walk towards him, after which she sat down next to him and asked if he was against her company. Kai replied that he was waiting for someone here, and besides, he was doing work here that would soon bring him millions. The girl said that her name is Emily, and his name is Kai, and if this is so, then he also came on a blind date. After which the girl showed the guy their correspondence with her and said what if it wasn't him? Then she will simply apologize and leave. Kai was very surprised if she really was the girl they were on a blind date with. After that, the guy immediately closed his laptop and said that he was indeed Kai. Then Kai said that she was really amazing because she was able to find him among so many people, and then he offered her a drink. Immediately after this, Emily said that they should be honest, and then added that she liked him. And therefore, if he wants, they can go and get married right now. Seeing this reaction, Emily asked if he didn't like her. Kai fell into deep thought. A pretty girl wants him, but something is wrong here, because otherwise it's simply illogical. When Kai handed her the napkins, he said that he was happy with everything, but asked if she had made her decision too quickly. The girl said that she liked him, he was happy with her, and then asked why, in this case, they should waste time. Suddenly, Kai noticed her stomach, something was wrong with it. That's why he decided to ask about it directly. With a grin on her face, Emily asked if he really thought he would become a father in a few months, and then added that she had never had a boyfriend and was still a virgin. This reaction finally finished off Kai. He was ready to hear anything, but not this. The guy apologized and said that he couldn't help but ask, and then added that they still don't know each other well, so they should get to know each other better. Emily said that she occupies a high position in the company and also has a house and a car. Thoughtfully, Kai asked why she chose him, because she is a beauty, and there must be a lot of rich guys chasing her. Taking a cup of coffee, she replied that it was all because he was cute. With a smirk on her face while sipping Kai's coffee, she asked if this wasn't a worthy reason. Kai became embarrassed and said that he was really handsome, and then added that she couldn't understand a person just by his appearance. And then he added that they could try to meet for a couple of months, and then when they begin to understand each other, talk about marriage and all that. Emily replied that there was no problem with that. She would do whatever he wanted, and then offered to eat and then watch a movie. Kai didn't think she would answer so quickly, so he suggested they chat a little more. And then he actually offered to sleep with her. Confidently placing the cup on the table, Emily agreed to his proposal. Kai was confused, because Emily agreed to even this so quickly, he didn't know if this was normal at all. After that, he immediately decided to switch the topic and said that he was suddenly hungry, after which he suggested that she go eat and then watch a movie. Emily leaned towards him and whispered in his ear that she would agree to absolutely anything he wanted, and besides, she took her passport with her. She said she wasn't going home tonight and asked Kai to do the same. Kai became nervous and said that, unfortunately, he was not the type to rush things, in response to which Emily said that she was fascinated by his beauty. After these words, people around began to think that they were filming some kind of series, because such a turn of events simply could not happen. Kai thought that since she took the passport, they could go to his place, but Emily said that the hotel was more romantic. The guy didn't know whether he should continue insisting that they go to his home and not to a hotel. Emily said she would have no problem paying for any hotel he chose as long as they went there. Kai was alarmed by this. He asked why she agreed to everything except to let him go home. After which he remembered that comment under his manga, and he asked if he returned home tonight, he would die. Emily was a little wary, and with a surprised expression on her face asked if she had said that. Kai told her to stop pretending, because if you think like that, then that comment should have been written by her. The girl got nervous, but there was nothing she could do because someone had already told him about it. And then she asked Kai to believe her. She promised that she was not going to harm him in any way. After they arrived somewhere, Emily said that she would tell him everything about it. She said that from the next day a catastrophe will strike the world and great changes will take place. And she is a girl who came from the future and also his wife. After which she said that she had not gone crazy, but had simply been reincarnated. And after some time, the two of them were sitting in the cinema. After which we went to a summer cafe where we also had a good time. Well, when the waiter came for them to pay for their order, Emily said that she would pay for everything. Kai was still surprised, because she is such a wonderful girl and she doesn't need his money. Then they headed to the hotel, as agreed. Kai thought that Emily must be very rich if she pays for everything herself. She asked to give them one large room for two. At this moment, Kai intervened. He said that he wanted a two-room suite, and it was clear from his face that he was very worried. But already in the room itself, Kai said that he was not a coward. It was just that Emily behaved very strangely today. In addition, Emily's words kept spinning in his head. She said that the disaster would strike at exactly 12 o'clock at night. In addition, she said that after the disaster, he would become king. But Kai didn't understand how an ordinary manga author could become a king who would save the world from disaster. He also thought that Emily was just crazy, so when faced with a crazy person, he should only stay away to protect himself. Suddenly, the phone lying next to Kai buzzed. It turned out that it was Emily. She wrote to Kai that she was already shopping. And then she sent him a photo of herself in a robe and with a glass of wine in her hands. Kai clicked on the photo to open it in full size. When he saw the full photo, he blushed all over. He didn't understand who would be able to resist seeing this. Unable to bear such tension, he threw away the phone, hugged the pillow, and said that he urgently needed to sleep. It was only 9 p.m., so Kai wasn't too worried about it. He thought that he just had to deal with it. He said that if there was no disaster at 12 o'clock at night, it would prove that Emily was crazy, and then he would go to her room and sleep with her. Only then did it dawn on him whether he was really going to sleep with a crazy girl. It's 11 o'clock at night. So much time has already passed. Why hasn't Emily sent anything to Kai yet? This alarmed him. Kai began to accept that what Emily said might be true, in which case she wouldn't be crazy. Well, then he said that I'd better not think about that. It's much more important now to send a message to Emily to check whether she's sleeping or not. Suddenly, he received a message from that strange commentator who said that he would die if he returned home. It said that he must choose a demonic cultivation type, otherwise he will die. After reading this, Kai decided to block this user so as not to see him again with stupid comments. And so, when it was 12 o'clock at night, the alarm clock went off. Kai can't fall asleep, so he immediately turned off the alarm clock. He didn't understand where the promised disaster was at 12 at night, fortunately. He had a pure heart, so he didn't fall for her appearance alone. And then suddenly, a notification window appeared in front of him, on which it was written, "Welcome to the new era." Kai didn't believe his eyes at first, but then he realized that in front of him was indeed the notification panel, after which the panel displayed a notification that all people on the planet have only one choice for life. After reading this, Kai thought that he was still dreaming, because this simply could not happen in reality. The system further wrote that there are many advantages in this world, but there are also many dangers. The system asked him to choose whether to have a brilliant life or death, and then told him that he could only rely on himself. And finally, the choice of cultivation type, divine or demonic, appeared before him. Now Kai understood Emily was telling the truth, and she was not crazy at all. It turns out that that strange commentator and Amelia, both of these people most likely reincarnated. Kai said that he had to find Emily ahead of schedule and sleep with her, or rather find her. But then he stopped because he believed that he needed to think about which side he should choose. Suddenly, he felt someone's presence in the corridor behind the door. It was dark energy that haunted Kai. Kai heard someone's footsteps. He assumed that it could be Emily who was walking towards him. He decided to look out the peephole, saying that now it is a completely different world, so he cannot be so careless. And to stay safe, he must first check everything. When Kai looked through the peephole, and it seemed to him that there was no one there, it shocked Kai, because he clearly heard someone's steps. He looked through the peephole a second time and saw a terrible monster in female form in front of his door, looking straight at him. Kai jumped away from the door and was very scared. Had he really just seen a real ghost in front of him? Immediately after this, he began to listen to everything around him, but he still did not hear any sounds. Suddenly, immediately after these words, that ghost began to break into his door. Kai was incredibly scared, and he was also wondering if any of the people were still alive. The doors were already on the verge. It seemed that one more blow and they were about to break, and the monster would simply enter Kai's room. At this time, Kai screamed at the top of his voice and asked for help. When Kai stepped back from fear, he hit and tripped on the bed. While Kai was lying on the floor, the monster had already knocked down the doors to his rooms. And now the monster was already on the threshold of his room. This monster even knew how to talk in his terrible voice. He asked where the coward Kai was hiding. Kai sat not far from the monster and was shocked at how much this world had changed. And he was also afraid that he would die right now. The monster swung at Kai, saying that he should die and wanted to kill him. Suddenly, the one who was behind the guy stuck a dagger in the monster's heart, thereby preventing him from killing Kai. It turned out that it was Emily. She said that as long as she was here, she would not allow anyone to harm her husband. The monsters became seriously angry, and immediately after these words he began to attack Emily. The monster's attack was successful and hit Emily. After the hit, she flew several meters towards Kai and was seriously wounded. Kai immediately picked her up from the floor and asked Emily how she was feeling. Emily said that she was fine, because she promised that she would protect him. But this monster is too strong, so she will need his help. She told him to choose the demonic cultivation type, and then they would kill this monster together. Kai didn't understand why she said to choose the demonic type of cultivation, because now they were literally being attacked by a demon. The guy assumed that in this case, the divine type of cultivation was not the strongest. Emily said that he should believe her words, because she was his future wife and would not lie to him. Remembering that commentator said not to trust anyone, Kai still doubted whether to trust her or not. Kai said that although he is an ordinary manga author, he understands that the development speed of the demonic path is much faster than that of the divine. Emily turned to him and said with a smile on her face that, as expected of the future king, he was able to make such an accurate analysis at such a moment, after which she continued to fight with the monster. Well, at one point she screamed at Kai to quickly choose the demonic path because she was no longer able to restrain this monster. She said that the demonic path is the basis of this world, and when they unite, no one in the world can compare with them. Kai thanked her for reminding him of this, otherwise he would have truly chosen the divine path. After which he said that he loved her incredibly, after which he approached her as if he wanted to hug her. But when he came even closer, it turned out that he wanted to take her breasts. The girl screamed and wanted to kick Kai. With a smile on his face, Kai said that as expected, she cannot be trusted. If she really was his wife, she would allow him to do whatever he wants. And after that, with the words, "Does she really think he is so stupid?" he pushed her towards the monster. Running away from there, Kai said goodbye to his supposedly beloved wife. But Kai's fake wife begged him to stay with her. After she saw that Kai was not going to stop, she finally decided to deal with the monster. Immediately after that, she dealt with him in an instant. And she told Kai that they would undoubtedly meet again. As Kai ran down the corridor, he met people who were rushing in crowds to the exit, since there was no elevator here. People crowded at the exit, but could not get out because they did not allow each other to do so. Kai thought that since both stairs and the elevator were blocked, the only way out was the window. While Kai was going down the pipe, the world began to change the characteristics of everything around him, the rate of mutation and evolution of plants. While Kai was running down the street in front of him, he heard the sounds of people screaming that there were monsters near them. And soon Kai himself saw in front of him a huge monster in the guise of a wolf. He said that this monster appeared too suddenly, but he was lucky that he only met two in such a time. Swinging a trash can, Kai shouted that he was not at all afraid of this monster. And then he threw this bucket of garbage at the monster. But Kai was not too lucky. The garbage bucket did not have time to reach the monster before it tore it into small pieces. Immediately after this, Kai began to run away with the thoughts that the level of danger of this monster was amazing for someone he could just run into on the street. When Kai ran far enough, Emily dealt with this monster. She didn't understand where he could have run away so quickly. Emily held an address in her hands and said that normal people, first of all, in such a situation rush home, despite the fact that they know about the danger. After that, she said that she would definitely find him at any cost. At this time, Kai ran in an unknown direction. He said that he could not trust Emily, so he wanted to bet on Ashley, that strange girl from the comments. He said he would most likely find Ashley at his home. Suddenly, some correspondence from people unfamiliar to him appeared in front of Kai. Kai realized that monsters appear randomly, which means that nowhere is safe. Kai read this correspondence a little and realized that he needed to kill monsters in order to survive. But first, he should choose his own path. The guy thought about it and said that divine and demonic cultivation have no connection to factions. It's just a class system. He is tired of thinking, because if the demonic path is wrong, then he should choose the divine cult and not worry about it anymore. At that moment, he received the buzz as an advantage. Only the problem was that he did not understand how to use this advantage in real life. Kai didn't understand. Emily said that he would become king, so where are his cheating skills? After some time, the notification window appeared in front of Kai again and showed him his current abilities. His abilities seemed to him quite good, and he was even pleased with this, when suddenly he saw another monster in the sky right above him, only this time in the form of a bird. He took a closer look at it, and a feeling came over him, as if he had already seen this creature somewhere, only he could not remember where. Suddenly he remembered that he once drew the same monster for his manga. Just like the harpy and the kobold hunter, they could all have been drawn by Kai as characters for his manga. And suddenly, while he was thinking, another kobold hunter attacked Kai. The hunter told him that he had finally been caught, and then asked how long he was going to run away. Kai began to get nervous, because with such abilities as he has now, he will not be able to fight back. Is this really how his life will end? But Kai couldn't give up. He didn't want to just lose his life, although he had no idea why the monsters from his mangas appeared here. But if this thing really is a kobold hunter, then Kai has a plan. Judging by his knowledge, the kobold hunter is similar to ordinary yard and stray dogs. And there's nothing they fear more than being locked up and in a cage, so being in a confined space should make him feel claustrophobic. Running into the store, he chose one of the many doors and went in. Unfortunately for the kobold hunter, he didn't see which door the guy came through. Therefore, he began to break and tear out doors one after another. He eventually walked into one of the rooms, expecting to meet Kai there. But after a couple of moments, Kai threw a huge piece of cloth on his head. The hunter could not figure out where Kai was, and he, in turn, shouted even more, so that the hunter would be even less oriented in space. Kai thought so. A small, enclosed space will make the hunter forget about him, and with the only thought to get out in his head, he will recklessly rush to his heels. The guy still continued to shout to the hunter so that he would finally catch him. Watching the hunter run from side to side in an attempt to free himself, Kai saw a chance to kill him. He picked up the first stone he found lying next to him. Kai hit the monster with all the strength he had to be sure to kill it. And a moment later, the guy was already standing over the killed monster, rejoicing that he had finally succeeded. It turned out that there was someone else in that store under one of the shelves. A moment later, the creature grabbed Kai's leg tightly. Soon, the creature no longer looked so menacing. It turned out that it was some little fox girl who had been waiting for Kai for so long. She called Kai Dad, but Kai himself did not understand why she called him that. After that, Kai calmly explained that the girl was simply mistaken, and he was not her father. But the girl said that he was her father, because her mother asked her to wait here and said that the first one to come here is her father. Kai told the girl that they don't even look alike, because he has no ears and he doesn't have a tail, so how can they be relatives? In response, the girl began to cry and said that her mother looked exactly like her father. She also did not have a tail or ears. Kai was surprised that her mother was a human, because how could it happen that a human gave birth to a demon, and then asked the girl's name? Shedding tears of misunderstanding and fear, the girl replied that her name was Emma. For some reason, Kai immediately remembered the demon queen Emu. While Kai was thinking about how he needed to kill monsters to awaken special abilities, the girl jumped and hugged Kai. And suddenly he came across a demon queen, whose name is Emma, like that huge demonic fox from his mangas. Suddenly, the girl said that her mother once said that if her father came, she should give him a gift. The girl turned and pointed at one of the doors, saying that the gift lay behind the door. A moment later, they were already approaching the mysterious box in which the gift was supposed to be. As they got closer, they noticed that the box was emitting light, indicating that there was indeed a gift inside. Kai asked Emma if her mom told her what was inside the box. Emma said that her mother didn't tell her anything about this, and then added that she saw some kind of doll there. Kai was surprised that the girl could see what was in this box, so he asked if she could really see what was inside. Emma replied that she sees not only what is inside this box, she sees a lot of things that are around this room. Looking at the girl, Kai was a little confused as to whether she really had Superman's vision. Taking advantage of the situation, Kai decided to ask what Emma sees next to this room, what else she can see, Emma replied that nothing else is visible. But if necessary, she can see everything, right down to the big house. Kai was shocked, because it was 100 meters from them to that big house. But this was only to his advantage, because now it turns out that she is his mini-map. Without thinking twice, Kai grabbed a large stone and hit the lock on the box, thereby successfully breaking it. Having opened that chest, they saw that there was indeed a doll inside, only it was made of paper. Emma immediately grabbed the doll with joy, because she was right when she said that there was a doll there. In response to this, Kai asked to put this doll in its place and not to take objects unknown to it. Hearing this, Emma didn't understand why she couldn't play with the doll because her father would still get it. But suddenly the doll disappeared right from Emma's hands, as if it had simply disappeared into thin air. Emma didn't understand where her father's gift had gone. But Kai didn't yell at Emma. He just said that it was just a toy and nothing more, so don't be upset. And then Kai noticed that Emma had something wrong with her hand. In the end, Emma noticed that the doll had been transferred to her hand. This scared the girl a little, so she waved her hand as if she wanted to get rid of this doll. And it worked after Emma shook her hand. The doll was transferred to the box. After this, the doll came unglued from the box and seemed to come to life. She even began to walk on her own. Emma did not understand what happened to the doll and why she lived. But judging by Kai's face, he realized that this was one of the 365 techniques called the demonic origami technique. Emma immediately liked this doll, so she invited Kai to play with them. Kai calmed the girl down a little, and then asked her to tell him where her mother went. Emma said that her mother killed 2 monster dogs and kicked the third one out into the street, but then corrected her and said that Mom only killed 1 kobold hunter and she let her kill the other. Kai asked if her mother told her anything else, but Emma replied that she only said that her father would come here. This alarmed him, because it turns out that her mother knew that Kai would come here. But most importantly, he believed that he was lucky, because Emma did not pose a threat to him. Perhaps everything would become clear when he returned home and found Ashley. After that, he put Emma on his shoulders and said that he would now carry her on himself. As they walked down the street, Kai asked Emma from time to time where the red dots were. Emma informed them that there were 2 in front of them and none on the left. While she and Kai walked to his house, Emma told them how best to go so as not to meet monsters. But after some time, Emma got a little fed up, and she began to ask when they would arrive at the place. And finally, Kai turned to Emma and said that they had finally arrived. The terrible screams of people being killed by monsters could be heard everywhere. In every alley, danger was everywhere. People were reckless, so they became easy prey for all the monsters. Now it's much easier for Kai to avoid monsters because he has a very reliable minimap. When they had already approached the door of a multi-story building, 2 guys ran out with weapons. They were surprised that someone else had survived, and they were also interested in the fox girl behind him. These 2 approached Kai, and in a dissatisfied voice asked where he got this fox girl from. Smiling evilly, they told Kai to tell them how to get the same demon pet, and then they would become bros. Kai thought that they had chosen the demonic path, so he told them that if this was so, then an old man was wandering on the street, and if you followed his instructions, you would get yourself a pet. One of them was incredulously surprised that there were still tasks in this world, and the second one said that it was dangerous here, after which he invited the guy to go with them. Kai said that he would do so, but first he needed to pick up something from the house, so he asked to wait for him for 5 minutes, and then he would return. But the guys didn't trust him. They said that he needed to leave the girl here, and only then he could go to his home. Kai said that since they want to become bros, they should start trusting each other first. The guys said that in that case, they would go with him to help him find what he needed. Kai saw that after the beginning of a new era, another side of humanity appeared, but still agreed to their proposal. At that moment, it was not for nothing that Kai mentioned the demonic path, because the guys looked happy, which means they really chose it. Therefore, most likely they have already received their abilities. Come to think of it, Ashley should still be in his apartment since she was reincarnated. Kai wondered how strong she was. Having opened the doors, Kai immediately grabbed Emma and ran inside, after which he tried to slam the doors behind him as quickly as possible so that those 2 would not enter. But one of them managed to stick his weapon between the doors, so Kai was unable to slam the door. After that, he apologized to the guys and said that he had already developed such a habit. And then he opened the doors and the guys entered his apartment. The guy with glasses immediately drew attention to Kai's collection of figurines and said that he must be very rich since there are so many of them. Kai replied that he was just an ordinary manga author, and then added that they could look at everything here, while he went to the room to get the right thing. The guy searched absolutely every corner of his apartment, but he couldn't find Ashley anywhere. He didn't understand where she had gone. But suddenly he noticed something lying on his bed and a blue light falling on this object. It was some kind of note with a message from Ashley. She wrote her ID as a way to contact her. After reading this, Kai wondered if Ashley had left any weapons for him. Without thinking twice, Kai immediately entered her ID into the system and sent a friend request. After that, Kai left the room and invited the brothers to go on a mission. But suddenly the guys became interested in what path Kai chose, because if he chose the demonic one, then he had nothing to hide from them. At this moment, Emma said that father was going to practice promoting the divine path. The guys got angry at Kai. Did their brother choose the divine path? Kai clearly did not expect such a turn of events. He did not even think that this girl could bring such problems. In response, Kai asked if they really believed his pet and not him, since he had quarreled with his wife and really chose the demonic path. The guys said that if this is true, then let him show them what he got by choosing the demonic path, or let him give the pet to them. Unfortunately, Kai had no place to run. He was thinking about jumping, but did not know whether he would survive after that. Suddenly, a notification window appeared in front of him. It was a notification that his friend request had been accepted and that Ashley had sent him a message. She seemed glad that Kai was still alive. Kaki was happy, because now he can contact Ashley, because now he can only survive thanks to her. Kai wrote to her that 2 demonic cultivators were trying to kill him, so she urgently needed to teach him something offensive. A moment later, Kai heard the word deer behind him. He immediately recognized this voice. After all, I've heard it before. And a moment later, Emily burst into Kai's apartment through the window. She said that they hadn't seen each other for only a couple of hours, but he had already managed to pick someone up, and it upset her. The guys immediately noticed her beauty. They were literally fascinated by her. Kai asked Emily what she was doing here, and Emily replied that she was looking for him, and finally found him. The fat guy immediately handed Amelia a phone with a QR code. In this way, he wanted her to add him as a friend. Without saying a word, Emily knocked his phone out of his hands with a powerful blow, and then hit him in the face. The blow was so powerful that despite his great weight, the guy flew several meters away. After which, Emily said that he was a terrible fat guy who didn't even dare to approach her. The guy's friend immediately approached him to see how he was feeling. But the fat man only said that this woman was so hot that he liked her incredibly. Thinking about his friend's words, the guy with glasses said that he was just an idiot with superpowers, then ordered him to get up. And a moment later, the question was no longer about her beauty, but only about defeating her. Emily cheekily asked why I should attack both at once, because it would be much more fun. Kai received a message from Ashley again. This time he realized that no one but him could see his control panel. Ashley sent him the first form sword technique, after which Kai said that this system was very useful and easy to use. After all, through it you can directly send even equipment to another person. The only thing that interested Kai was whether this technique would be useful or not. The first form of this technique featured many different fighting moves. Having seen such a large number of different movements of Kai, I became interested in what the second form of this technique looks like. The next window that appeared in front of Kai was an indicator of his skills. The percentage of learning the sword technique lasted very little. He literally mastered the technique in a matter of seconds. Even Kai himself was surprised that everything was so simple. And soon the percentage of learning the technique reached 100. He soon fully mastered the first form of the sword technique. While Kai mastered the sword technique, the guys fought with Emily. But Emily was much stronger than them, so she could cope with any of their tricks without any problems. The fat man said that now he really couldn't even stand on his feet, so the other one would have to fight her alone. The guy with glasses got completely angry and decided to use his C-rank special ability. In response, Emily smiled and said that he was so worthless that he only managed to reach C-rank. A moment later, the guy with glasses was also defeated by Amelia. Emily then told her husband that she was an incredible woman before asking his opinion about it. Emma grabbed Kai's leg again and said that this woman was not her mother. Kai said that he knew about it, and then asked Emma to stay behind him so that she would be safe in case of an attack. When Kai called her by name, Emily heard it too. She asked if this spiritual fox that was standing behind him was it. Without allowing Kai to finish, he said that he had already chosen the divine path, which means that they could no longer be together. He then activated his ball possession ability. He directed all his strength, which only he had, towards Emily. Amelia did not expect such a turn of events at all. She did not know that Kai now also had abilities. The attack was so powerful that it even broke through the floor below them and destroyed the wall into the next room. This attack significantly exhausted Kai, but Emma, on the contrary, was very happy because her father is so strong. Kai was also curious about whether Emily died after such a powerful attack. Suddenly, orange energy began to burst out from under the floor. At the same time, Emily shouted Kai's name. This only meant that Emily was still alive, and such an attack, unfortunately, could not finish her off. Therefore, they quickly decided to escape from there by jumping from the window. Kai admitted that, unfortunately, he could not yet defeat those who had reincarnated. Kai also said that after choosing the path he really became stronger, he jumped from the third floor and everything was fine with him. At that time, Amelia screamed for him to come back. She also screamed that he was the future Demon King, and she was his wife. Kai didn't understand if she really thought of deceiving him in this way. After all, he chose the divine path. How could he be a Demon King? Suddenly, as they were running, Kai received a message from Ashley. She asked if he was still alive. Kai said that he was still alive, but he was wondering where Ashley herself was. Ashley said that she was now heading towards Kunlun Mountain, and Kai might find her there. And then she sent him her photo. Kai liked this photo, but he didn't understand why girls were throwing around photos so easily. It was so indecent. And then Kai realized that Ashley had just said something about myths. 3 days ago, Kai was calmly drawing manga for himself, when suddenly someone called him on the phone. It was his manga editor who called him at the most inopportune moments. But Kai knew that he had 1 more hour to turn in the work. This editor, he probably likes to rush people. Kai told the editor that he was almost done, but the editor called him with great news. He said that Kai's manga has been picked up by a publisher, which could lead to it being adapted into an anime. Kai just needs to add mythological elements to it. But Kai didn't know what he could add to his manga from mythology without it turning into a chaotic mess. Kai said that he draws cultivators, not just any kind. He wants freedom for his work. And the editor said that Kai will receive additional payment for this. He said that with each chapter, the price will increase by 15%, and the copyright for the animation will be paid separately. Kai was pleased with this. He said that he would fulfill his request, and then hung up. But Kai didn't know where he needed to shove the mythology. Maybe he should put the main character in a world full of mythological creatures. Then Kai thought that this was exactly what he needed. Maybe it would be better for him to come up with some new mythological creatures. Kai said that if he cannot change the world, then he can add different things to it himself. For example, add some mythological creatures. Kai began to worry about the plot of this new world following the plot of his manga. But the main problem is that the new manga plot was invented just 3 days ago. He didn't even start drawing it. It's strange, because if he didn't draw this comic, then someone else did. It's good that he can ask Ashley about it, because she's his fan. He asked her how many chapters were in his manga, and if it had an ending, what was there. Ashley replied that his comic was never finished because he had already died by then. It turns out that if he had returned home then, he would really have died. But then why did Emily say that in the future he would become king? After this, Kai can't help but question even Ashley's care. Kai asked Ashley if she only saved him because she was a fan, to which Ashley replied that she did. He also asked her if it was because he would become a king in the future, in response to which Ashley just wrote, he. Kai really didn't like her, he, because he knew what it meant in this situation. Suddenly, Kai heard Emma's stomach growl, after which Emma herself said that she was incredibly hungry. Hearing this, Kai initially wanted to order food delivery for her, but only then realized that there was no delivery in the new world. Kai already wanted to go and rob a supermarket, but in places where there are a lot of people, there should also be a lot of monsters. There were some noodles in his house, but Emily might still be there. Where should they go to find something edible? Kai didn't know where to go, but the only thing he knew was that his only way to survive in this world was to follow Ashley. Ashley said that she was now rushing to the Kunlun Mountains, but before that she was in his house. So why didn't she wait for Kai? Why did she run to the mountains? Most likely she knew that it would be dangerous in his house and just wanted to avoid it. Kai was already pretty fed up with these degenerates. The city is not at all safe or suitable for survival compared to the city's supermarket. The countryside is full of large vegetable farms. After that, Kai turned to Emma and said that he would soon find some food for her. If this era truly comes in the future, the myth descended, then undoubtedly the limit of combat capabilities will be significantly increased. Once he descended into this world, let alone normal people, even being a cultivator would be very difficult. Because people won't just encounter some monster with a dog's head, it will be a mythical monster. And the transition period is 99 days if this happens. Kai has no idea how he will survive. After some time, they found an abandoned motorcycle somewhere and used it to leave the city in search of food. First, you need to find fruit to fill their stomachs, and then a small storage area that is usually not looked into. While they were looking for food, they met a lost cow along the way, which they decided to kill in order to get meat from it. This will be the first normal food they eat. The problem is that food is becoming less and less, and in search of it, people are forced to explore new places where monsters may live. And then at one point, when Kai was roasting meat on a fire with Emma, monsters were preparing to attack them from behind. A moment later, When the monsters thought that they had already eaten these two, Kai and Emma were behind these monsters. Kai had already begun to control his abilities better, so he decided to kill these monsters with his new skill. People still fought monsters to survive, while learning about new monsters. After the apocalypse, more and more people left their homes and began to live a new life. While Kai and Emma were relaxing on the roof of one of the buildings, Kai decided to look at the functions of the system. It was a New Era forum where one of the professors was sharing new information about the new era. The professor decided to tell people information that only he knows. The first topic the professor started talking about was that old food rots at an incredible rate. After all, in this world, everything that people like, such as cars, food, and weapons, is all in a state of accelerated aging. The professor once again showed people the initial changes and evolution of the new era. But oddly enough, freshly prepared food is not a food with an accelerated aging time. This is the theory. The new era is just an updated old world, and all old objects will be forced out of the stage of history. Having heard new information for himself, Kai soon closed the live broadcast. He wanted to check something. Kai decided to look at his characteristics by opening the status window in the system. Kai's performance was truly at a high level at first. It even seemed to him that the divine path could allow him to accelerate human development. But even though he has 100% perfect talent, he only has the third stage of the foundation. If this world is the same as the world in his manga, then stage 3 is just the beginning. Then comes the hardening of the body and the transformation of ki. Of course, monsters can easily kill a cultivator with a tempered body, but this is not the most important thing. The most important problem will happen in 3 months. The advantage is the origami technique. It can be used as bait, and with its higher development, you can even create an immortal body. Kai was worried that most likely people would not be able to become strong enough in 3 months to fight monsters from myths, despite the fact that it was not Kai who drew the myth that descended, his original idea. After becoming acquainted with ancient myths, the civilization of the new era will see an incredible difference in combat abilities. Now Kai understands that 3 months is a transition period for the merging of civilization and cultivation, a period after which it will be clear whether humanity will survive. While eating meat, Kai says that Emma cannot think only about herself because she needs to maintain her human qualities. A moment later, Emma started crying because Kai didn't share the food with her, and only then did Kai notice that he had eaten all the meat alone. At that time, a file with an encyclopedia on all types of monsters, their weaknesses and strengths, was posted on the New Era forum. People immediately began to discuss this. Some believed the source, while others thought that it was simply unrealistic to kill so many monsters. At that time, people at the military headquarters of the New Era tried to check where this encyclopedia came from, but they only received a name, a flickering red star. It turned out that being near the mountains, Kai placed that encyclopedia on the form. He was only a little worried about his anonymity. Kai knew that Ashley headed to the mountains. This is because the original point of non-convergence of myths is the mountains. Emma was very interested in where they were going. Kai replied that he and she were going to the mountains. On the way to the mountains, Emma discovered a monster with a dog's head behind a rock, but Kai told her not to worry about it. The original monsters with the heads of cats and dogs appear everywhere when other monsters seem to not exist. Kai did not understand where the monsters of the transitional period were, such as the turtle of heavenly life, or the red snake with a golden eye. Suddenly, just as Kai thought about this, a notification bar appeared in front of him. The new era was updated, and now all the monsters that Kai was just thinking about appeared. Suddenly, Emma started shouting that her mother was on her way. Kai at first did not understand which mother she was talking about. Presumably, it could have been Ashley because she was also in the mountains. Strangely, the only thing Kai felt was that the world was about to be destroyed because a new monster would soon appear. Yes, not just ordinary monsters, but ancient, terrible, ruthless ones, filled with killer genes. Wandering along the paths leading into the mountains, they found an abandoned warehouse and decided to go there. Kai began to worry a little, because even a monster of the lowest rank has very strong combat abilities, and he is only at the initial stage. The guy definitely won't be able to defeat the new monsters, so he only has a choice to hide, but this also raises big problems. Kai also decided to check the New Era forum. Maybe there will be some information there about the monsters that have appeared. They even published a photo of one of the cities that was attacked by new monsters. Monsters lack intelligence. They are driven only by instincts. They destroy and kill. Their first goal will be a city in which there are many people. When suddenly a message appeared on the forum that some kind of savior had arrived, Kai thought that he was a military man. But then he remembered that the military also did not have weapons. Afterwards, Kai saw that they were also cultivators, only at the level of ki transformation. Kai didn't understand how this was possible, how a person with a QE transformation level could appear. With his 100% cultivation talent, Kai has only reached the third foundation stage, and no one can have better talents than Kai. Outskirts of Tianhe City, mansion overlooking the lake. This savior cut through the water of the lake while riding his magic sword. It turned out that this savior was somehow connected with Emily. As soon as he arrived to Emily, he immediately began reporting how many and what level of monsters there were from different cities. Emily was not interested in all this. She absolutely did not care about all these monsters. After all, no matter how many demonic altars are built, without a king they are of no use. Unfortunately for Kai, Amelia knew that it was he who sent that encyclopedia on monsters. She only needed to know his area of location. Emily knew that most likely he was heading to the Kunlun Mountains. People from the ninth heaven must have sent him there. But they are all terrible hypocrites. Fraudsters who do terrible things behind people's backs. Apparently, this fact infuriated Emily very much out of anger. She even killed one of her birds. Emily warned the savior that ancient monsters had now begun to appear, so he should be careful. After this, Emily immediately flew out in search of Kai, saying that she would definitely find him. At that time, some kind of demon with wings was sitting under one of the trees. He said that he would definitely avenge his friends. After which Emily flew up to this demon and asked how this demon was going to take revenge in this state. The girl immediately burst into tears because she thought that this woman had left, and now she was standing in front of her. Emily thought that she killed this demon and flew away. But at that moment, the demon was alive and opened the control panel. The demon wrote that the savior had appeared in Tianhe City and might be nearby, so her friends should be careful. Immediately after sending a message to her friends, the girl passed out due to heavy blood loss. Meanwhile, Kai and Emma were still sitting in that abandoned warehouse, somewhere at the foot of the mountain. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a monster appeared straight out of the sky. He landed right next to the warehouse where Kai and Emma were. Meanwhile, Kai looked at the message that the city they were in had been named Demonic City Number 14. They even started accepting students into the clan, which means that many knew about everything from the very beginning, they just hid it until now. If they knew for a long time that a new era would come, then why did they wait until the last minute to find out what the reason for this was? Suddenly, they saw a huge storm monkey in front of them. Kai forgot that Emma couldn't look around while eating. Fortunately, the storm monkey is the weakest beginner-level monster, but already has the strength of a seasoned body. Despite the monkey's low strength, Kai decided to use her skills to distract the monkey while she escaped. As they ran away, Kai asked Emma to see if there were any other monsters nearby. Emma had bad news. She said that they were surrounded by monsters. Kai was furious. He did not understand why an ordinary warehouse attracted so much attention. When Kai finally ran outside, he saw a huge crowd of storm monkeys in front of him. By that time, the monkey that Kai had distracted had already returned and was standing right in front of him. Kai began to worry very much because these huge monkeys surrounded him everywhere, closing all routes for escape. He understood that he would indeed become the future king, but he was afraid that he might die now without achieving this goal. Kai didn't know what to do, but unlike him, Emma looked very confident. She jumped out of his arms and wanted to do something. She used the power of demonic origami, saying that she would not allow anyone to harm her father. Emma screamed that she was not at all afraid of these monkeys, and they could do whatever they wanted to her, if of course they could do it. The little girl told Kai to leave these monkeys to her because she wants to deal with them with her own hands. Kai was a little unsure that Emma could handle such huge monkeys alone. But Emma said that he shouldn't underestimate her, and then she wanted to demonstrate some skill to her father. After these words, Emma created a huge amount of paper origami, which she aimed at the monkey. The monkey said that Emma could not defeat her with such pathetic tricks. But suddenly something changed. The paper origami began to move incredibly quickly. The monkey did not even understand what had happened. Emma said she waited for the monkey to lose his alertness and be frivolous so that the attack would cause maximum damage. When the monkey finally lost coordination, Kai decided to take advantage of this and finish off her technique and second style. Kai's sword hit the monkey right in the back of the head, its only weak point. Immediately after this, the monkey fell down. Emma was surprised at how strong her father was. But the problem was that with his current cultivation level, he could only use this technique twice, and there were many more monkeys. For such moments, Kai asked Ashley to teach him a third style of ball possession, but she didn't even respond to his request. Kai simply does not have enough strength to fight all the storm monkeys, even if he knew all their weak points. Suddenly, Emma shouted that happiness had overtaken them because her mother had come to save them. After which she immediately pointed her finger at the woman, saying that this was her mother, and Kai needed to immediately look at her. Kai was surprised that her mother does not have a foxtail or ears, and in general, she is not a demon. Emma said that she had already said that her mother and he are the same. The woman said that as a future king, Kai should not have been hiding in this abandoned warehouse. Kai said that she was right, of course, but he didn't have any fighting abilities that could cope with such problems. The woman said that he was right, and with his current fighting abilities, it would be difficult to do anything at all, but she would help him. Kai was surprised if she really knew him, or knew that he would become the future king in response. The woman said that she could never give birth to a forest demon. Then she added that it was indeed she who left that paper doll, but she never thought that Emma would use it. After which she took out of her pocket some small box containing something edible. She told Kai to eat it. As soon as the monkeys saw this pill, they started going crazy. Therefore, Kai decided to ask what kind of pill it was, because the monkeys had a very strange reaction to it. The girl replied that this is the golden pill of 9 changes. Does Kai know about it? The essence of this pill was that after taking it, a person's powers could change depending on his talent. After the woman handed him this golden tablet, Kai decided to ask who she was. In response, the woman said that she was just an ordinary alchemist. This confused Kai, because if she really is an ordinary alchemist, then where did she get the golden tablet with 9 changes from? And soon the monkeys stopped just waiting and began to attack, only this time they attacked all together. The woman said that of course, as an alchemist, she must first master other techniques, after which she raised her umbrella and asked Kai if it seemed to him that these monkeys were some kind of material. After these words, the woman used some kind of technique and literally a moment later, all the monkeys were defeated. When all the monkeys were already lying dead, she said that they had bad blood, only their claws were of any use. It was the woman who asked if Kai had truly chosen the divine cultivation path, and also if he was heading towards the Kunlun Mountains. Kai mentally said that this woman scared him even more than Emily, but still answered that it was true. The woman said that the mountains are indeed the best place for cultivation, but he needs to have a lot of martial techniques to protect Emma. Then she added that she was only an ordinary alchemist, and unfortunately, she could not teach anything new to either Emma or Kai. In addition, she told Emma to follow her father everywhere, because this is the only way she can become stronger. Kai asked her where he should go, because demonic cultivators have captured the entire city of Tianhe. He has no choice but to hide somewhere. As she left, the woman said that he should head to a region called Van Town. Perhaps there he could get some equipment. After which the woman said that her name was Michelle, and then she dictated her ID to him so that he could add her as a friend, and said that she would be waiting for him at Kunlun Mountain. The distance between Tianhe City and Wangtown is 143 kilometers. Even if Kai was on a motorcycle, it would take him at least 2 days. This woman did not call Kai her husband, like Emily, but for some reason she allowed Emma to call him father. It was strange. The next thing he did was to add this woman as a friend. Kai was surprised that the friend request was accepted quickly enough. Right after Michelle accepted the friend request, Kai decided to write to her. He decided to ask her about rebirth, whether she had been reincarnated. In response, the woman only laughed and said that it was possible. None of them denies this fact, but unfortunately, no one also admits that they were reincarnated. When Kai and Emma were exploring the area, from time to time they came across corpses of people killed by monsters. Kai thought that it was incredibly dangerous everywhere, and if Michelle had not arrived at that moment, he would have already died. But the only thing that Kai was really interested in at that time was improving his own fighting skills. Kai hoped that the golden pill he received from Michelle was the same one he came up with in his manga. After several minutes of hesitation, Kai finally ate it. There seemed to be more energy in his body, but in order for it to become even more, Kai needs to expand and strengthen his personal reservoir of energy. The effect of the 9 changes of the golden tablet is to change the body's capabilities, remove impurities, and allow a person to become a cultivator. His performance increased so much that he jumped straight from the 3rd stage to the 7th. If this continues, he will soon be able to ride a sword. He could ride it for 2 months without a break, although first he still needs to get this divine sword. By the time Kai ate the golden pill, Emma was incredibly hungry. She wanted to eat again. Kai didn't understand how he could eat so much, but he still decided to go to the city of Van Town for supplies so that the child would not suffer. The city of Van was one of the completely abandoned cities, overgrown with grass on all sides. Those 2 guys were just in this city. The guy with glasses asked if the other knew about the most important thing during the apocalypse. The fat man replied that the most important thing is to praise people. After this answer, he immediately received from the guy with glasses. The guy with glasses got angry. What kind of boasting are we talking about when they need to be as ruthless as possible? The fat man remembered that if at that moment they had not begged Emily for mercy, they would most likely have died. But now they have become stronger, and Emily taught them intermediate demonic techniques. Combined with their talents, they can now kill absolutely anyone. It turned out that they were working for Emily, and when they find Kai for her, she will accept them as students of the demonic clan. Suddenly, daggers flew from the sky at the guys. Fortunately for them, they managed to dodge. And then a woman jumped from the roof of a tall building. She looked nice. She greeted the guys and was glad that they were visiting the city of Van. At the moment, the guys were most interested in the fact that she jumped from such a height and did not harm herself. The guys immediately knelt in front of her and asked for an apology for invading her territory. They said that they were just passing by. The girl laughed and said that they should not be afraid, because people who came from afar, like them guys, are their guests. After which the girl told all her sisters to come out and greet their clients. The girls immediately began praising the guys for various masculine qualities, such as their strength. One of the girls brought an apple for the older guy and offered him a treat. The guy, without thinking twice, took a bite of the apple right from the girl's hands. He said that this apple is incredibly sweet and very crunchy. The second guy also wanted to try this apple. He was wondering if this apple was really that good. Hearing this, the other girls brought more fruits so that the second guy could also taste their delicious fruits. And the main girl said that she could even become a guide for them, since they were lost. But the guys were only interested in a large amount of food and girls. After that, the main girl told her sisters to quickly escort their clients to the city so that they could show them their skills. She began to say that in this city of Van, all people are their honorary clients, and the two of them can do whatever they want here, whatever they want. These two believed that this city should not be called Van, because the most suitable name for it is Paradise. After some time, Kai and Emma also arrived in the city of Van. Patrol servants even flew over the city, checking the area for the presence of strangers. One of these services was a girl who flew to the elder demon to report the situation. She seemed to say with fear on her face that the young king had arrived. The unknown demon said that he had been waiting long enough to meet him. She was glad that he had finally come. The only thing that consoled Kai in this terrible place was that Michelle said that he could find some useful equipment here. Kai received the same warm welcome as the guys he and Emma were greeted by daggers from the sky. Looking at the daggers, he wondered if they could become his weapon. And here you are, standing in front of Kai is the same girl who met the guys. Kai was worried by the fact that demons began to invade even the human world, but Emma saw her sisters in these women. The girl replied that there was no invasion. They are from the demon race and have always lived in Van City, and they belong to the leadership of the demonic palace. Kai knew that they had a low level of cultivation, but at the same time they lived in the human world. This was unexpected for him. The girl asked the guests not to be afraid, although they are from the demon race. They are not hostile towards people, because you are their honored guests in a small town. When this girl said that in this city they cannot do whatever they want, Kai decided to take advantage of the situation and ask about their weapons. The girl said that now I should worry about such little things. It is their custom that if a client wants something, they will organize everything, after which she asked Kaya and Emma to follow them. Kai was on his guard. He knew that these demons were much stronger than him, so the only thing he could do was be careful. Along the way, Kai even came across people who looked really happy in this city. In addition, there are not only men here, but also women. Kai does not even feel the danger of the apocalypse here. It is more like the land of heavenly deities. The demoness led him to the best equipment store in the city. She said that she would wait for him at the entrance. If there was anything unclear, he could ask her. Looking at the weapon, Kai understood that the weapon of the old era had already oxidized and rotted, which means that this weapon was made recently. After Kai briefly examined the weapon, he asked what the price of the weapon was here. The girl replied that she was only responsible for receiving guests, and as for prices, the client can talk about it with the owner. After which she told him not to worry, because they conduct their business in good faith. Kai took Emma's hand and told them to go in and see what was inside, thinking that there was no way demons could conduct honest business. Entering inside, they saw that there was a huge weapons factory there. There they were met by a demon woman in a snake shell. She said that the prices here were reasonable, and of course they would not be deceived here. Kai said that he wanted to buy a sword, in response to which the demon told him that their store specialized in this, and then asked him to follow her. On the way, the demon asked Kai about his cultivation levels, since their shop could recommend various swords according to the client's needs. Kai said that he was at the beginning level of cultivation and could ride a sword, so he would like to buy a flying sword from them. The girl turned to Kai and asked him with a terrible look if she had heard him say the initial stage of cultivation. But after which the girl said that of course they have this, he just needs to wait a little, and soon she will bring him a flying sword. Kai could be said to be surprised that they actually have this. The problem was that Kai himself did not quite understand what budget he should count on, but it was definitely no more than 200,000. The girl came with a sword and apologized for waiting so long for the client, after which she asked what he thought about this sword. Kai said that it looked pretty good, but doubted its practicality, and then asked its price, but the girl replied that they did not need money. But the guy didn't quite understand what she was talking about. If they don't need money, then what do they want? With a malicious smile on her face, the snake girl said that his eyes would be enough for her. She said that the eyes of a beginning stage cultivator were just enough to afford such a sword. Kai, perplexed, asked what would happen if he refused. The girl said that they were doing honest business, and since he chose this sword, he should pay for it. The demon who was waiting for Kai outside thought that since the customers had not come out yet, he must have chosen a good sword. Meanwhile, the guy Kai saw was having fun with the girls and said that he was incredibly happy, only he had no fingers on his hands. He said that he still has toes, so they can still safely spend one fun night. And the girl who was sitting in the restaurant asked for more and more food. Only now she could no longer pay for it, since she had already spent all her life energy. Kai said that in this case she can take her sword back, because it is not wise to lose her eyes for some holy sword. He decided not to buy it. Only at the moment when Kai entered the store, trading began, and without buying anything he would not be able to leave. This is a rule set by the Demon Palace for many years. To this day, the demon race follows it, and there have never been any exceptions. Seeing and hearing this, one of the patrol servants informed the elder demon that the king refused to pay. In response, the elder demon said that this is not so. He just wants to take this sword for free. The elder said that Kai will become the future king of the world, and all hope rests on him. This demon was interested in what the future king looked like, so she said that she should greet him personally. In addition, she wants to see how the king will take things for free, even given the restrictions of the rules. Meanwhile, those two guys were working hard in the mine. One guy no longer believed that there was anything else in this world for free. In response to this, the other guy told him to speak more quietly because someone might hear them. And in general, he should be happy that at least they were left with underpants, but they could have done more than just work in the mine. The fat man wanted to ask Emily for help since they were working for her. The guy with glasses told him not to worry because he had already told her about their difficult situation. The fat man hoped that this would happen, but he also understood that they had not fulfilled her instructions, so she would never come to their aid. While the guys were having a nice conversation, the guard cut off one guy's palm. The guard said that he completed the task perfectly. As a reward, they offer him a rest in a nightclub. The price for entry is a hand. After this, the guy was dragged by two beautiful demon girls, but the guy didn't like it. He just wanted to calmly continue working in the mine. The fat man noticed that they were forcing him to pay for everything, and this was already the fourth person today, and soon it would be their turn. At that time, the guy with glasses asked him what he thought was the main problem of this place. He said that these demons, when serving them, smiled very sincerely, as if they were truly treating them with love. But if they were really friendly, they would hardly cut off people's arms and legs. It turns out that they clearly hate people, but their smile looks incredibly realistic. Then the fat guy said that his analytics were incredibly accurate, but now it was much more important for them to think about how to escape from there. Immediately after this, the guy with glasses started shouting that the fat man wanted to run away and began calling the guards to him. The fat man didn't understand what was happening, but the guard was already standing in front of him. He said that according to the rules of the demonic court. If a customer decides to receive service and run away without paying, they can punish him however they want. While the guard was saying this to the fat guy, a guy with glasses sneaked up from behind and hit the guard. As soon as the guys saw that the guard had fallen, they immediately began to run away. Meanwhile, Kai and Emma were still surrounded by a large number of demons. Emma said that she would protect her father, but to Kai it reminded him of a manga script he had written. The snake demon said that a client who breaks the contract is required to pay 3 times the original price. Now 2 eyes will not be enough. He needs to add his heart and liver. Meanwhile, that demon girl was already watching everything that was happening from above. Kai was not happy with this turn, because if he paid such a price, he would simply die. But he noticed that the snake did not attack first. This means she is afraid of his cultivation level, so he cannot attack first, because if his abilities are revealed, he will most likely die. As for the topic of conversation with them, it will not be possible to use logic, because in the face of absolute force, any logic will only turn into a laughingstock. The guy understood that there was no point in stalling for time, because there was only one way to escape. He needed to take a risk and give it his all. Kai said that she has too much faith in her fighting abilities, and before his mood worsens, they should step aside. Otherwise, he will destroy the entire city. The snake demon began to shout displeasedly that an ordinary entry-level cultivator could not do whatever he wanted in the city. Kai suspected that there were expert-level demons in the city. Even an entry-level cultivator would not be able to suppress it. If Kai was not mistaken, then in the middle of the plot, there were only three forces: deity, devil, and demons. The queen of the demon race would be Emma. But besides Emma, there are 7 other demon kings. When Kai entered the city, first he saw a demon cow. Then after this snake called for help, these demonic cows surrounded them again. Therefore, Kai had no doubt that Van City belonged to the Bull King, who dominated the area. After which Kai asked if they were really so naive that they really believed that he was an entry-level cultivator. Emma didn't quite understand what was happening, so Kai explained to her that they would now have to use paper people. Kai, in front of everyone, asked Emma to take out and show the skin that they had taken off 2 days ago, after which Emma took out the skin of a huge dragon from her pockets. Kai said that his short name is Sai, but what about his full name? He thinks that they themselves know it. Usually, if the demons see that you have killed the Demon King, they will become incredibly angry and immediately surround the killer. They will also risk absolutely everything just to kill the one who killed their king. But the demons are not united for this. Fortunately for demons, they are more dependent on resources, and the fall of one king will free up a large amount of resources. Also, demons respect the rule that the strong take a higher position. They will never fight someone who is much stronger than them. The snake demon did not understand how it was possible. The only one in the demon race who dared to use Sai as a surname was their master, Evelyn Sai. Kai said that this skin indeed belonged to their master, Evelyn Sai. After this, it dawned on Kai that it turns out that Evelyn Sai rules this city, not a bull. And so, the girl who was observing the whole situation said with a haughty voice that this time Kai is right. The owner of this city is indeed Evelyn Sai. And a moment later, she was already standing right in front of Kai. Everyone immediately began to greet their master. Despite the fact that Kai knows almost everything about his own plot, he did not know who this demon girl was. If Kai was not mistaken, then again, the demons of this world are really the same as in his manga, with 7 demon kings, and the surname of one of them is Sai. And then Kai realized that he got it right with the beginning, but got it wrong with the continuation. He didn't think about the fact that the demon king might have another race under his command. After which the demon girl asked Kai if he personally took off this dragon skin. By this time, Emma was already beginning to worry that their deception had been discovered. Before Kai could answer her question, everyone noticed how someone from the side shouted, "Catch them!" It turned out that these were the 2 guys who were running away from the mine, followed by the guards. When the guards met the cow demon, they immediately started telling her that the 2 were trying to escape the mine without paying. The guys tried their best to escape, but at one point they were surrounded, and the guys had no way to retreat. By that time, they were already very scared, because they both did not want to die, but they also had no choice. Kai didn't understand why they were so afraid of these guard bulls, and then I thought that I had already seen these guys somewhere. The demon cow asked Evelyn how they could punish these people. Of course, the guys immediately began to beg for mercy. One said that very old grandparents, as well as his children, were waiting for him at home. The second one prayed for them to let them go, because they were too hasty in their actions, and they really regret it. And finally, Kai recognized the guys, but only the fat guy recognized Kai, and only then the second one. But they still did not understand what he was doing here. Kai was also surprised that they were still not dead after meeting Emily. The guys began to lie, saying that she did not kill them only because they had known each other for a very long time, literally since childhood. Evelyn asked Kai if they really knew each other. Kai said that he not only knows them, they have literally gone through fire and water together, so they must immediately release his dear brothers. Hearing this, the guys were happy and only confirmed his words, but the fat man had suspicions that Kai knew these demons. After this, Kai turned to the snake demon. He said that he would still buy this sword, and his dear brothers would pay the price for it. The snake demon didn't know if it was possible to do this, but Evelyn said that it was a reasonable deal and everything was done according to the rules. Since he saved them, it means that these 2 will naturally have to help pay off his debt, so everything is in accordance with their rules and trading principles. Hearing this, the snake handed Kai his sword and said that from now on it belongs only to him, and then thanked him for the successful deal. After this, the snake demon turned to the guys and told them to follow her and pay for the sword. But fortunately, the guy with glasses managed to write a message to Emily. He said that Kai was in the city of Van, and now Emily would come there and save them at the same time. After which Evelyn approached Kai and said that since their deal with the snake was over, they could make a deal between themselves. For example, she was very interested in this dragon skin that Kai got. Meanwhile, events took place 15 kilometers from the city of Van. It was Michelle who said that the world is so big that finding someone here is like finding a needle in a haystack. And then she said that if Emily hesitated any longer, she would soon be late. Emily angrily asked her if she really knew where Kai was now, and if she dared to lie to her, then she herself knew what the consequences would be. Michelle said that she did not intend to offend the demonic clan. She only needed ceramic fire from the underworld of their clan and nothing else. Then she said that exchanging fire for information about her future was a very profitable exchange for both of them. But suddenly, Emily saw that a guy with glasses wrote to her saying that they had found Kai in the city of Van, and she needed to hurry there. Having found out where her husband was, Emily vilely decided to attack Michelle. Emily said that if Michelle wanted the ceramic fire of the underworld so badly, then let her take it with her own strength. After the attack, she immediately jumped off the cliff, saying that she had finally found her beloved, and she was already going to him. It turned out that Michelle was not hurt at all after Emily's attack. With the words that the demonic clan does not change, they also like to attack sneakily and unexpectedly. But luckily, Michelle knows how to use her own abilities to get what she needs. Michelle assumed that Emily already knew that Kai was in the city of Van. Initially, Michelle wanted to stall for time as long as possible, but it seems she is no longer able to delay Emily in any way. Suddenly, the bird told Michelle that Evelyn and Kai had already seen each other. Michelle said that Evelyn was not changing at all and was acting just as recklessly. Michelle also wonders what will happen when Emily and Evelyn meet. She would like them to fight. At that time, in the city of Van, Evelyn offered Kai to make a deal for the dragon's skin. Kai was so nervous that he had gone overboard with his deception that he couldn't even move. Suddenly, Emma pointed her finger at the bird and said that she loved them very much, so she would like to take one with her. At first, Kai thought that they were not at all interested in birds in such a situation, but after looking at her, he realized that she looked quite familiar. She remembered that when they were in the warehouse, she noticed a similar bird on a tree. And when he met Michelle, she had almost the same bird. Although they are not the same, they are definitely related. But what is strangest and most important for Kai is that it was Michelle who sent him to this city. Maybe it was the Dragon Queen who knew that Kai would arrive in Van City, so she was waiting for him. Now Kai understands everything, although he doesn't know that she is in Emily's mind, but at least he knows one thing. Since she was waiting for him on purpose, it means he is temporarily safe. Evelyn wondered what Kai, as the future king, would do when faced with such a problem in the form of a huge number of demons. After a moment, Kai said that since Evelyn wanted this dragon skin so much, she could take it. Evelyn wondered if Kai was really going to just give her this dragon skin. Kai said that the demonic court would not approve of this type of trade. If she wanted the skin, then she should give him something of equal value. Evelyn said that this was quite reasonable, and then asked what he wanted in return. Unexpectedly for everyone, Kai said that he would like a snake demon as an equivalent item. Evelyn got angry. She asked Kai if this was really his way of trying to make fun of their demonic race. And then, angry, she said that dishonest trade was unacceptable for their race. After this, one of the hunters shouted that Kai dared to mock them and ordered everyone to kill him. But Evelyn made a concession for Kai. She said that since he didn't know the rules, he could choose one more time, for example, he could choose all the bull demons. Hearing this, Emma immediately became happy. She really wanted a whole team of bull demons for herself. But Kai continued to insist on his own. He said that he would not choose the bull demons. He still wanted the snake. Emma was a little angry at Kai, but Kai told her to trust him because the snake was better and more fun than a whole team of bull demons. Once again, Kai wants to make a deal that could ridicule an entire race of demons. If he doesn't give Evelyn at least one suitable reason, she will kill him. Kai turned to Evelyn and smilingly said that the snake was the only choice that Evelyn herself gave Kai. Evelyn was interested in this. She asked Kai to tell him why he decided that the snake demon was the only option that she provided him with. Kai said that she was one of the 7 demon kings, yet she settled in such a small town and also solved all these petty problems herself. Afterwards, he added that this was definitely not a coincidence, because she couldn't have so much free time for such trifles. This suggests that Evelyn deliberately waited for Kai in Van City. Evelyn said that Kai really answered correctly, and she was really waiting for him here. Since she was waiting for him, she had some special reason, because when he came to the city, all his actions were under her supervision. He can also make such a bold proposal, because all this was planned by her anyway. Evelyn said that this proposal was indeed very bold, but then asked why she needed all this. Kai boldly replied that she decided to test him, and made him believe that their demon race obeyed the rules and hoped for fair trade. And when he asked for the price of the flying sword, they named it. It was 2 eyes as payment. It was definitely an unreasonable price. Evelyn didn't understand why this was an unreasonable price for him, since demons eat people, so she didn't think it was any problem. Kai said that he thought so too, but fortunately after that he saw these two. He said that these 2 scum are doing everything incredibly badly, and besides, they are screwing up out of the blue. And if demons eat people, then why are they still alive? If demons obey the rules, then there are more than enough reasons to kill them. Given this whole situation, this would once have made people feel helpless and incredibly afraid. But if you look, people live in a world with demons, but they behave so naturally they don't even feel a sense of fear. Is this normal? In addition, Kai had previously heard that the demon race has one special spell called Mirage. This entire city, is an illusion created by it. Hearing this, Evelyn began to clap and say that this was truly amazing, after which a magic ball formed in her hands, which she broke a moment later in order to show Kai the truth. Immediately after she broke the magic ball, the illusion around and in the city began to fade. When the illusion wore off, Evelyn told Kai to continue and asked him why he said that the snake demon was his only choice. Kai said that if he guessed correctly, then no matter what he does in Wang City, whether it is buying equipment or food, wherever he was, this particular snake would have met him. Evelyn said that even if she really sent a snake to serve him, then there is nothing wrong with it, or Kai thinks differently. Hearing this, Kai told Emma to stop using the technique to reveal the dragon's skin. When Emma approached the artificial dragon skin, it exploded, and all that was left of the skin was a paper man. Even though her cultivation should be high level and her body should be a dragon, she did not reveal them because her main motive was to complete this deal. Kai said that with her demon queen powers, she could definitely tell that he was just a simple entry-level cultivator. Michelle said that before going to the mountains, he needs to gain certain fighting abilities, and in this city, he will find what he needs. Kai wondered what could enhance his fighting abilities. Even if he was given a weapon, he would not be able to unleash its true power. Therefore, he assumed that it could be a bodyguard, and besides, she was not afraid when he mentioned the entry level, most likely because she was confident in her fighting abilities, and most likely she is at the beginning element stage, like Kai. Kai's last guess is that this snake is the bodyguard that Evelyn sent him, because this is an equal price for the dragon skin. A very valuable dragon skin in exchange for an initial stage bodyguard? Is this a bad deal? Kai asked. Hearing this, Evelyn began to clap and said that his powers of observation and deduction were truly amazing. She told him that on the first day of the new era, that ordinary alchemist came to visit her, and also said that the future king would pass by the city of Van. After which Michelle said that for such valuable information, she could give her the materials that Michelle had previously asked for. This is her well-deserved reward. Evelyn did not understand what future king she was talking about, and why she should trust her at all. Michelle said that she could go and see for herself what she said. And what about the materials? She could give them away after their meeting. Dissatisfied, Evelyn said after Michelle that if a person does not have any merits, then she will not give him a gray cobblestone. Evelyn told Kai that not even an hour had passed since Kai arrived in the city, but nevertheless, he already understood her entire special plan, which she spent 10 days developing. She began to praise Kai for his incredible wisdom, because it shocked her. What's even more surprising is his talent for cultivation. After all, not even 10 days have passed, and he already has the 8th level of cultivation. And then Kai admitted that on the way to the city of Wang, the day before his arrival, there was a breakthrough in his cultivation, and he moved to the 8th level of cultivation. Kai tried to contain his emotions, because the demon queen herself praised him for his success in cultivation. Even those two guys were shocked by what they heard, because they are still at the first stage, in which case they agree with Kai's words that they are scum. Evelyn said that with such wisdom and crazy cultivation talent, he could truly become a future king. Kai was incredibly glad that in the end he would still be able to survive, after which Evelyn said that Kai was indeed right, and the snake demon was her gift to Kai, after which she asked her to show the Kazine her fighting abilities. Olivia approached Kai and apologized for the fact that the flying sword was actually hers, because she had made a blood contract with him. A moment later, as if with a snap of a finger, the sword flew out of the box and headed into the sky. And a moment later, Olivia was already cutting through the sky on her flying sword. When she had already landed, Evelyn said that he most likely liked the performance of his future servant, as well as his bodyguard. She said that Olivia is actually very strong. She is not at the initial stage, these are all illusions, and in them Olivia is number 1 in their race. After Evelyn asked Olivia to show her skills, Olivia waved her hand, and a moment later a beauty stood in front of Kai, not at all like a demon. Seeing this, the guys began to envy him, saying that now he can have fun with a girl who can transform into whatever she wants. The guy with the glasses said that Kai could play with any pretty girl for a whole year, and she would be different every time. Hearing such impudent statements in her direction, Olivia took 2 swords and threw them at the guys. When the swords stopped right in front of the boys' faces, Olivia said that if they even spoke again, she would not hesitate to kill them. After which Olivia walked up to Emma and put her hand on her head. A moment later, Emma noticed that her ears and tail had disappeared. Kai was thinking that this snake demon undoubtedly had some useful tricks for him. The guy believed that this demon snake was really a gift for him, but the race's true motive could be protecting Emma. Unexpectedly for Kai, Evelyn said that the demonic palace had specially prepared 3 items to show its sincerity. The first gift is a flying sword. It is made by the best craftsmen of their race. The material used is high-quality mysterious crystalline iron. Kai was very surprised, because if the quality of the flying sword is the same as his in the manga, then this sword, a first-class spiritual weapon, is even stronger than Olivia's. Next in line was a pair of boots made from the feathers of golden eagles. Wearing them would make Kai feel as if he was weightless. Kai really liked this gift, because sometimes in order to survive, you need to run away quickly. Well, the last gift was a heart protection mirror. Wearing it literally protects the heart and allows you to maintain balance. But the main function of this item is protection against 3 critical hits, the level of which should not exceed the initial element. This gift surprised Kai even more, because now he actually has 3 lives. But if the attack power exceeds the level of the initial element, the mirror will explode. When Kai put it all on himself, he said that he was grateful for their generosity, and then asked about the conditions for receiving these items. Evelyn said that, as expected from the future king, he understood everything, and then added that there really were conditions. The price for the 3 gifts was a promise that he could fulfill later when he became stronger, and he shouldn't worry, it wasn't very difficult. Kai was not particularly worried about this. He said that he would do everything when the time came, and besides, such a trade seemed fair to him. After all this, those 2 guys said that even demons seek his favor. They asked if they could follow him from now on. But as soon as they said this, Olivia came up and threw the fat man several meters away with a powerful blow. She told them not to even dare touch her owner with their dirty hands. After this, it seemed to Kai that Olivia was a rather cruel bodyguard. But Kai also hadn't forgotten that these 2 guys were demonic cultivators, and they might be up to something. It turned out that the fat man was hiding a dagger behind his back, with which he wanted to kill Mrs. Evelyn. A moment later, he jumped out in front of her and swung his blade at Evelyn. But fortunately for everyone, Evelyn managed to react and repel this vile attack, slapping the fat man in the face. Initially, Evelyn considered him a weak person, but he managed to withstand her at least a weak blow. She was surprised that the fat man was not thrown back, and that he was even able to get up after this. But what Evelyn definitely didn't expect was a guy with glasses behind her. She didn't even understand how he got there. But after a moment, smoke and fragments scattered everywhere, and from this smoke red and bright eyes began to be visible. And a moment later, Evelyn, reincarnated as a dragon, emerged from this smoke. She immediately rushed to those guys, saying that how dare they even think that they could defeat you in such a vile way. Kai had never seen a real dragon in person, much less a dragon that controlled all the demons. But the guys just laughed, saying that she was so strong that they couldn't even hurt her. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a chain appeared behind the guys, heading towards Evelyn. She began to gradually envelop and bind Evelyn. A moment later, many more of these chains appeared. They were literally flying from all sides. Olivia really wanted to help her mistress, so she said it directly. Only Evelyn herself said that she should not even dare to approach. After all, these chains are an array of 9 lower souls, the demon clan. Olivia began to worry how these 2 scum knew how to use the 9 lower soul array. Kai said that out of nowhere, because he had seen them before. They really are trash, so they can't be that strong on their own. Suddenly, Emma told Kai to look at the top of the building. When Kai turned around, he really saw a man there. Kai began to recognize this man by the outline of the figure. He assumed that it could be. Evelyn told Emily that she used the puppet control technique, and with the help of this garbage, she got closer to her and used the 9 lower soul array. It turned out that there was also a person behind Evelyn who was watching all this. This person said that Evelyn had used too many valuable things. It looks like Emily is really planning to take Kai, but Evelyn is not so easy to deal with. Evelyn has a large number of employees and military personnel, so Michelle expects a good show. Finally, Kai and Emma found out that it was Emily, but they didn't understand what she was doing here. Emily turned to them and said that during these 10 days, she had had a hard enough time finding him. Then she said that she did not expect that Kai would get a female demon behind her back. A moment later, she jumped from the roof onto her flying sword and on the way to them said that she was really upset now. But she will stop blaming him once she kills them all, and eventually he will return to her again. Kai realized that Emily was actually also an initial element cultivator. He was surprised that there were so many initial element cultivators here. Hearing this, Evelyn said that since she was a starting element cultivator, the 9 profound soul array would not be able to keep her trapped for long. By then, all the bull demons were also shrouded in this chain and could not move. It turns out that this demonic cultivator dared to use the master's power while she was trying to break the arrays. and forcibly locked these demonic guard bulls into the 9 lower soul array. Finally, Michelle understood everything. The true target of this spell is a group of bull demons, because the demons who died in the array. And demonic energy turns into absorbed demonic energy. Thus, not only are the demon guards unable to help Evelyn, but they also become a source of energy for Emily while she fights. Well, what's surprising is that if Evelyn doesn't kill the bull demons, she won't be able to escape from this array. And if she kills them, it will make Emily even stronger. Emily said that it seems that one of the 7 kings, the Dragon Queen, is not that strong, but she can kill her demon guardians. Emily will not mind at all. Evelyn didn't believe that she couldn't break this damn 9-bottom soul array. But no matter how hard she tried, she still couldn't break it. And once again, Olivia wanted to help her mistress, only this time she had already begun to act. But Kai said that she should have protected him, because it was Emily who came for him, and then he told Olivia not to fall for her tricks. And he ordered her to immediately return to him. At this time, Emily said that as I expected, her husband was smart, because he was able to uncover her plan. When Emily flew up to Kai, Emma began to defend him, saying that she would not allow anyone to hurt her dad. Emily knew that this was a martial origami technique. She also knew that this doll belonged to that alchemist girl. Could it be in this case that this fox's mother is it? Michelle said that now she had been exposed, and in the future it would be more difficult for her to trade with the demonic clan. Emily still continued to rapidly approach Kai. Kai didn't like the fact that Emily was so strong. After all, even one of the 7 kings, Evelyn, was caught in her trap. Could she really be someone who was reborn? Fortunately, he is not one of those who is very proud and will be able to accept the fact that he ran away. Until he becomes strong, he will run away from her as long as it takes. Emily said that this movement was very fast. Was it really all because of that pair of shoes? She told him not to run away from her so quickly, in response to which Kai said that he really liked being fast. Hearing Kai's answer, she said that in that case she would change her position and began to use the teleport technique. Before he could react, Kai didn't even realize what had happened, but Emily was already standing right in front of him. Kai said that he used 100,000 swords that time because he thought she wanted to kill him. But Emily said that he shouldn't worry. She wouldn't hurt him, because he really is her husband. But Kai said that he doesn't believe her because she wants to use him. Otherwise, why not let him touch her? After hearing this, Emily asked if this would be suitable, after which she took it and kissed it. It was his first kiss, but he didn't understand what was happening. Why she was kissing him in such a place, what she had in mind. She asked if he believed her now after this kiss, but Kai asked what was wrong with her mouth. Was she really injured? Emily said that she was not injured, she just gave him some of her blood essence. Immediately after this kiss, Kai felt an incredible heat in his body. Almost immediately after the kiss, Kai felt incredibly ill. He even lost consciousness for a couple of seconds. Emily said that he should not resist. Her blood essence not only has powerful power, but also her mental spiritual energy. And in his dreams, he will see the whole truth. Immediately after this, his guard Olivia appeared near Kai and threw Emily away from him. After that, she said that she never thought that she would be defeated by a simple, small snake demon. But now it doesn't matter anymore because she has finally completed her mission. At the time, Michelle said that Emily really does a lot without hesitation. And in front of her enemies, she dared to harm her cultivation and give the essence of blood. Why is there such a hurry? Michelle thought. But Emily just laughed and said that last time she missed her chance, but this time she won't miss it. At that time, Kai was thinking only about Emily. He was worried that she was injured, and he also had thoughts that he was the future king, and she was really his wife, after which his eyes began to blur and his vision became blurry. But he believed that all this time Emily had been telling him the truth. While Kai was in a dream, he felt an incredible heat. He thought that if this continued, his body would simply explode. He also received a notification that the 9 changes golden pill had been activated, and the second change was starting. Kai remembered the god rank golden pill. The medical effect should definitely help him absorb that essence blood that Emily gave him. And finally, the second change is completed. After that, Kai decided to open her status and see the changes. It turned out that he broke through directly to the stage of a hardened body. And suddenly Emily spoke behind him. She said that he had finally woken up. She said that she used 50% of her cultivation and created a blood essence that could allow people to follow the demonic path. Emily was glad that he had finally found the demonic path. But if he had chosen it in the first place, she would not have had to spend so much effort and resources. Kai didn't quite believe that they were now on the same side, but he was interested in that blood essence, whether it really made people become demonic cultivators. But then why in this case the status window still shows the cultivation of the divine path? After that, Kai began to worry a little. He turned to Emily and asked where he was. Emily replied that they were in the space of her consciousness, part of which was in that blood essence. Then she said that he could ask her absolutely any question to which she would answer honestly. Kai was intrigued by this, but he still didn't trust Emily. How did he know that she wouldn't burn him? Emily replied that she would not lie to him because he was her husband, and now he was also a cultivator of the demonic path, and she had no reason to lie to him. It seems Emily still thinks that Kai is now a cultivator of the demonic path, in which case he might get some useful information from her. He was interested in why they appeared in Tianhe City, why there were so many initial element cultivators, and what the descended myth was. Emily said that her husband apparently doesn't know what global citizen cultivation is, but there's one thing he should know for sure. Cultivators of the demonic path are becoming stronger, much faster than the divine path, so what will be his official choice? After which she touched her finger to his forehead and said that he should wait until he had thoroughly studied this world, and then she believes that he will make the right choice. After Emily clicked, a screen appeared in front of them. Kai knew that this date, this first day of the new era, was what happened after Emily left the hotel that night. In the meeting room, important representatives watched from cameras. How people die at the hands of monsters. But they still didn't know how to solve this problem, what to do. And suddenly a man named Jack came into the room. He was from the Special Affairs Department. He was also the deputy director of the Zhong City branch. He said that the senior management had already made a decision. After considering the strengths and weaknesses of the two cultivation paths, they had made an important decision. After people from the meeting table became interested in which path was recognized as more powerful, Jack replied that it was the demonic path. Some said that in all stories, cultivating the demonic path is evil, so why, knowing this, did the leadership choose it? But Jack shouted that he was so stupid that he didn't understand that good and evil would never change because of the cultivation path, because everything depended on the human heart. After all, they themselves saw that they did not have time for slow cultivation. The demonic path allows them to quickly become stronger and reduce mortality. He said that they would introduce them to demonic cultivation techniques and lead them to protect the citizens and the city. Due to the fact that the combat abilities of demonic cultivation can increase at an insane speed, the authorities chose the demonic path as the correct one. Then Emily said that she, like all the other demonic cultivators, were just protecting the city and the whole world. Didn't he write that encyclopedia about monsters and send it anonymously because he wanted to reduce the mortality rate? Kai still didn't know if he could trust her completely. According to her, the demonic cultivators were protecting the city. But was everything she said along with it true? But there are indeed a lot of demonic cultivators in Tianhe City, and they protect him. Could it be that Ashley, that fake fan, is actually lying to him? Even though the government chose the demonic cult, they have not yet made a single announcement about it, nor have they told people which side to choose. Kai still believed that she was lying to him and was simply trying to lure him to her demonic side, but he did not understand what her true goal was. She kept telling him to join the demonic cultivators, and together they would protect this world. And if he wanted, then she could become his furnace and help him. Emily can help him with cultivation, plus he has incredible talent for it, and he can become much stronger in a short period of time. Maybe he doesn't agree because she isn't pretty enough. Maybe it would be better for them to choose something like the dual cultivation technique. Kai continued to control himself and act calmly. Kai immediately pushed her away from him with the words that she should not dare to brainwash him, because she still had not told him what this myth was. After Kai pushed her away, Emily said that they were most likely communicating with him. But all this is already useless, because he has now become a demonic cultivator, and as for the descended myth, he should not ask her about what he knows better. Kai knew practically nothing about him since he didn't have time to draw him, after which Kai asked if Emily knew what would happen after the myth descended. Emily doubted it a little, but said that the myth that descended was the greatest event of mankind. At the same time, this is the greatest opportunity for humanity, because after this God will appear among people. From what he heard, Kai could not believe even more how it was even possible what kind of God would appear among people. But Emily continued her speech. She said that there is one place that cannot be ignored. These are the Kunlun Mountains, because this is the source of myths. In the ancient era, before the appearance of people, the gods actually dominated this world. The myth they spread, the gods created people and gave them life, taught them to survive. This story is exciting and amazing, but in reality, the gods did create humans, but the reason they did it was for food. They are superior beings who ate human food and enslaved humans. Stupid people always made mistakes, destroyed the artifacts or weapons of the gods, poured them out, so the gods endowed them with wisdom and intelligence so that they could serve them better. After some time, people became smart and did not want to be ordered. Thus, a war began between people and gods. In the end, humans defeated all the gods and successfully sealed them at the peak of Kunlun Mountain. This is all a story that everyone has heard before, the War of the Sealed Gods. Kai thought it was cool because, as expected from his comic, it was such an unconventional and creative take on things. But Kai did not understand, if the gods remove the seal and descend into the world, shouldn't it be a disaster? But in response, Emily replied that the power of God can be inherited. If God falls, then a new one will be born. After hearing this, Kai asked Emily if she was really going to kill God. Emily mockingly asked that if they didn't kill the gods, maybe it would be better for them to become food for them, like in ancient times. Kill the old gods, inherit their power, become the new spirit of God. That's the only way they can protect this world, Emily said. But the gods are too strong. If they want to kill the spirit of God, they must have unprecedented strength, and in the shortest possible time, they must gain such strength. And so Emily took over again, saying that now he sees that only the demonic path can allow his power to grow quickly. And then she again invited him to join her, because this is how he will become the future king and she will become the queen. Kai said that it was very attractive for a girl like her to do dual cultivation with him, especially with his cultivation level. But it seems to him that she has already said this. Kunlun Mountain is the source of the gods sealing at the peak of Kunlun Mountain. And since the gods are sealed at the peak of the mountain, if they want to protect the world, they must go there. But Emily said that it was too early for the name to go there, because Kai was too weak and he should go with her to do dual cultivation until he became strong. Hearing this, Kai, extremely pleased, asked what level of cultivation should be enough for this mission. Emily said that a person with the cultivation level of the initial element on the mountain will be in danger, but with such strength, it is already possible to defeat a god. After hearing Emily's answer, he asked her what her opinion would be if he said that he had already reached the hardened body stage. But Emily said that when the new era came, he was an ordinary person, and there was no way he could achieve such a thing so quickly. She herself spent 18 years on it. Kai was surprised because she just said 18 years, although before that she said that she was reborn the day before the new era. But after a moment, Kai said that nothing was impossible for him because he had truly reached the hardened body stage. At that time, Olivia was sitting next to Kai and said that apparently her master was about to break through. Even Michelle was surprised by this, because one drop of Emily's blood essence was enough for him, and he not only did not suffer, but also broke through. Meanwhile, Evelyn was still trying to free herself from the 9 lower souls array. She knew that it was getting weaker now. It seems that one drop of blood essence has greatly damaged Emily's cultivation, and Evelyn will take this chance. And finally, Evelyn managed to break the shackles that prevented her from doing anything. Immediately afterwards, she transformed into her normal human form. But she didn't understand why two forces were intertwined in Kai. She didn't understand what was happening, so she immediately ordered Olivia to remove the young mistress from Kai. Literally a moment later, on the orders of Mrs. Evelyn, Olivia ran away from Kai to a safe distance. And after some time, Kai finally woke up, but he didn't understand where he was. A few more seconds passed before Kai finally realized that he had woken up from the world of Emily's consciousness. And Emily herself looked very bad, as if she was seriously injured. She was incredibly surprised that Kai was able to overcome her mental spiritual energy. Looking at how Kai was literally surrounded by his own magic, she said that in this case he had truly achieved a hardened body. Without thinking twice, the first thing Kai did was get his magic sword back. As he picked up his sword, he felt an incredible surge of magic that he could only compare to an incredible leap in power. Just for fun, swinging his sword, Kai accidentally destroyed a building. No one in Van City understood how it was possible to break through from the 8th stage to the hardened body stage so quickly. Seeing this, even Emily herself was frightened by its strength. Michelle thought that it was the golden pill of 9 changes that she had given Kai earlier that gave him such a quick result. Or Emily's essential blood could have caused such rapid growth. She said that in that case, she needed to prepare for something. Michelle wrote to someone that Kai had finally achieved a tempered body, but it cost her half of her cultivation, so she should give her something in return. In response, she received a message that this man had no money. Michelle said that this girl is so greedy, no wonder she is a fan of Kai's manga. But if she wants to get away from this topic so quickly, then she won't let her. She just needed the electronic paired cultivation technique. That would be enough for her. Ashley replied that she never thought that she had such a hobby, but Michelle could try to persuade her, and then she would give her this technique. Michelle was annoyed that Ashley was acting so arrogant, but she still didn't feel proud. That's why she even started begging her, knowing that she simply wouldn't send her this technique any other way. The price for the file sent to Michelle was the delivery of Kai to the city of Ron. Michelle then received an item from Ashley. In order to pay for this item, Michelle will have to deliver Kai to another city, and in fact, now she will have to intervene in this showdown. Even though Emily lied to Kai a lot, she still really didn't intend to kill him. Is he really going to just watch her get killed right in front of his eyes? But the only ones who decided to stand up for Emily at that time were those two guys who wanted to help her. But as soon as they ran closer to her, they were stopped by a cow demon and a guard bull, saying that if they made even one more move, they would die. Everyone heard a voice come from somewhere above, saying that she had come at the right time, because they were having a lot of fun here, and she didn't waste her time coming here to them. When Michelle came down to them, Evelyn immediately asked her if she had come by chance to save Emily. Michelle replied that she was not going to save her, but the myth was about to descend, and she must know what it means to kill the saint of the demon cult. Evelyn asked her if she really dared to threaten her. Did she really think that the demon palace was afraid of the demon cult? Suddenly, Michelle abruptly approached Evelyn and said that, unfortunately, this demoness had something to do with Kai, and she didn't want to offend him. So Michelle asked Evelyn to let her do everything herself, after which she took Emma in her arms, who was incredibly happy to see her mother. And handing it over to Evelyn, Michelle said that this time she would owe her, since she was again helping her cope with the situation. Evelyn replied that she had not done anything, but said that Evelyn already owed her something, after which Michelle approached Emily and said that only a moment had passed since the last moment of their meeting. Emily knew that she wouldn't die so easily, so she needed Michelle to save her, because these demons wouldn't be able to kill her anyway. Michelle confirmed her words, but if she ran away now, the price would be too high. Did she really want that? Michelle asked. She also said that with this demonic snake, Emily will not be able to get close to Kai, but fortunately, she has a solution to this problem. Emily agreed to help Michelle, but she said that in this case, an entire demonic cult would owe her. And then Michelle began to approach Kai with words of congratulations on his achievement of the level of cultivation of a tempered body. Only now he began to lose confidence in her. He did not know what she was up to this time, and whether she was really an ordinary alchemist. Kai said that if he is not mistaken, then she has been watching all this for a long time, and that situation in the warehouse was also arranged by her. She said that Kai was very difficult to deceive, but she only did it to gain his trust. Kai asked displeasedly if, in order to gain his trust, she sent a bunch of monkeys to kill him. Michelle replied that of course it was all about trust, because in the end he trusted her and took that pill and also came here. In addition, she wants to give him another gift. He should remember this, because it is a very precious gift. After which she opened her information panel and showed him a technique called paired cultivation. Michelle said that he shouldn't be so surprised, because Emily is a very beautiful and sexy girl who he probably likes. But in response, Kai said that in such things he prefers to rely only on himself, and besides, Kai is not sure that in this state he will be able to tame her. It is for such a case that Michelle prepared this prison collar for Kai, which can temporarily seal a person's cultivation. But Michelle warned that the only bad thing about this thing is that it has one condition: the person must voluntarily agree to use it. Well, Kai believed that in this case this thing was useless, because someone would voluntarily agree to seal their cultivation. Michelle approached Emily and said that it was possible if someone was willing to pay a certain price to be close to her husband, after which she warned her that this collar only temporarily seals the cultivation and only when the person is below the initial element stage. But when her wounds heal, she will be able to take it off, and only in this way can she remain with Kai. Emily said that in that case she would wear it, but if Michelle dared to deceive her, she would make her pay for it. After Emily agreed, Michelle took the collar and placed it around Emily's neck. Then she approached Kai and said that now he can do whatever he wants with her. But to Kai, this scene with the collar seemed very familiar. Once she wears this golden crown, she will no longer be mortal. But in this case, she cannot have any dirty thoughts or actions, otherwise the golden crown will tighten and make her feel pain. Following this, Michelle approached Kai and said that he needed to take Emily with him, so it would be easier for him to enter the city, because Emily was considered an official there. These words made Kai think maybe what Emily said was true, and she is now truly from the circles of the highest ranks. In addition, she said that before coming to Mount Kunlun, they should definitely go to Ron City, where she left a secret for them related to the 9 heavens. Then she turned to Evelyn and said that Emily's cultivation was now sealed, and Olivia would look after her along the way. Only they didn't know what to do with these two scum. After hearing this, the guys said that in the next life they will try hard and pay for everything. Hearing about this, Michelle approached them and eerily told them that they did not have to wait for the next life, because they could start right now. She said that after the advent of the new era, conventional transportation has become unusable, and it takes a long time to produce. Because of this, weak people walk and strong people fly with their swords, but flying requires energy. Therefore, her proposal, in a historical style, is to harness the cart with horses to avoid problems. But the guys didn't understand where they needed to get the horses, to which Michelle said that these two guys would become horses with the help of Olivia's illusion. The guys were shocked by what they heard. They really didn't want to become horses. But after that, Olivia came up to them and said that, unfortunately for them, they do not have the right to choose. And in a moment, they turned from people into a pair of horses. Evelyn said that they now had 2 horses, but they also needed to build a carriage, and then asked if they would like to stay in Van City for the night. After the guys agreed, she ordered the bull demons to serve their guests. And late in the evening, Evelyn treated all her guests to a delicious meal among her friends. Kai said that the demons were full of enthusiasm, but for some reason he still felt anxious inside. Evelyn looked incredibly generous, but why would she lie? Because everyone already knows that she would never let Emily go so easily. And Michelle is now the biggest problem because looking at her, he doesn't have the feeling that she is an ordinary alchemist. Michelle looked at Kai and wished him a good job tonight. Kai understood that Michelle could force Amelia to leave, but she still left her. What was she planning? First Emma, then a storm in a warehouse with monkeys, and then the city of Van. It all looked like it had nothing to do with Michelle, but in reality it was all because of her. And the only thing Emily didn't like was the uncomfortable chain. But she didn't care at all that her cultivation was sealed. In addition, she said that she does not have any secret business with Michelle, but for some reason Kai again does not believe her. When Kai was eating, Emma came up to him and said that she was already sleepy, and Kai said that he could go and put her to bed. After Kai said this, Evelyn quietly sneaked up to them. Evelyn grabbed Emma and said that she would put her to bed and she would leave everyone else to Kai. After Evelyn left, Kai remained at the table with only Emily and Michelle. He said that this place looked peaceful, but for some reason he felt anxious. Following this, Olivia approached Kai and said that he should follow her because the hostess had prepared a room for him. When Kai was already sitting in the room, he thought that he could already get new changes, so he decided to write to that pretender, Ashley. He wrote to her asking if she knew what the current situation was in the city of Ron. Ashley replied that she knew, because that's where she was now. This seemed strange to Kai, and he began to guess that Ashley and Michelle knew each other, after which he decided to ask her if she knew any alchemists. Ashley answered no, after which Kai wrote that he had reached the peak of body hardening. Therefore, he would like to ask her to send him some new technique Ashley shared with him in the 3rd style of one-handed sword. Kai was surprised that Ashley handed over the new technique to him so easily. This 3rd one-handed sword technique was called water-sharpened stone. After a few seconds, thanks to his talent, Kai completely mastered this technique. His foundation level was raised again. Kai considered himself a real cheater. The 10,000 swords technique is quite strong, but it is not that powerful. And the sword with the technique of the 2nd fighting style, called the Sword of the External Heavenly Deity, quickly attacks the enemy. But the 3rd style of one-handed sword, water-sharpened stone, focuses on increasing attack power. And all the power is concentrated at one point and added together. Now, if he meets the monkey again, he will definitely be able to kill it. Even if Ashley says she doesn't know any alchemists, she's probably lying. Even their rebirth could be a lie. They can't be trusted. There is a long distance between Van City and Ron City. This time he can use to perfect the 3rd stage of his technique. But Kai was alarmed by the fact that 2 reincarnated people appeared in the same city. Why it seemed to him that something could happen on the way to the city of Van. Suddenly, someone knocked on Kai's door. It was already quite late, so he wasn't expecting anyone. But in extreme cases, he thought that Olivia was looking for him. Kai got out of bed, adjusted his clothes a little, and said that the person behind the door could come in. The door began to open. When the door opened completely, Kai saw Emily behind it, who came to him. It turned out that she wanted to borrow that paired cultivation book that Michelle had given him. Kai said that she had completely forgotten about this book. Could it happen that Emily would become his partner in this technique? The guy understood that Emily not only had an amazing body, she was beautiful if he could really cultivate in tandem with her. Whoever takes such a chance to help her strength soar, the problem is that she still thinks that he is a demonic cultivator. Once they cultivate, their kui will merge, and the fact that he is not a demonic cultivator will be revealed. Therefore, if he does not do everything correctly, it can lead to bad consequences. Kai touched her face and asked if she was really ready for pair cultivation with him. Emily replied that of course she was ready. After that, Kai took her hands and said that she still doubts, because she is not ready yet, and besides, she is injured. But without listening to his excuses, she pushed him onto the bed, asking if he really didn't want to cultivate with her. Then she added that in any case he should not regret his choice, And besides, she was still a virgin. But Kai was categorically against engaging in paired cultivation. He said that he was still too young for this. Emily said that in this case she would let him go today, because they still have a lot of time ahead. Apparently he is still wary of her. But for her, it was not particularly important, because as long as she could keep an eye on him all the time, it would be enough for her. She remembered Kai saying that he wanted to climb Mount Kunlun. When Kai was already asleep, she opened her message panel. It turned out that she was looking through her correspondence with Captain Jack. She told him everything that happened regarding Kai and her whereabouts. The next day, early in the morning, when Evelyn was already awake and having breakfast, she asked her servant if Emily and Kai really slept together that night. The servant replied that this was indeed the case. Evelyn said that she was trying so hard for the sake of the Demon Lord. Not only was she harming her cultivation, but she was also willing to give up her virginity. Although Emily is trying to shelter the king, she cannot stay away, so she asked to inform Olivia so that she treats the king very respectfully. Besides, the ritual of awakening the young lady has finished, but she will need to sleep for a few more days. Sometime later, when Kai was about to leave, Olivia said that Emma accidentally ate sleeping pills last night. She said it was entirely her fault because she didn't look after her. But Evelyn said it wasn't that big of a problem. Emma would just sleep for a couple of days. But in her mind, Olivia said that they are now talking about Empress Emma herself. Nothing will happen to her, even if she drinks poison. Kai decided to ask about Michelle. She is an alchemist, and alchemists know how to cure diseases. Olivia said that Michelle had left a long time ago. She asked her to tell Kai that even though couples cultivation was good, he shouldn't rush into it too much. Therefore, she advised him to try something else, but nothing came to mind. Olivia was a little embarrassed, but she was still able to tell that Michelle said to try something new with snakes. And after some time, the guys already hit the road. Looking back, Kai said that they finally left the city of Bath, and now everything seems to be getting better. Apart from the fact that Emma was sleeping, everything seemed normal to him, but he was still haunted by the feeling that he was missing something. But anyway, he has a starting element snake bodyguard, and he has passed the main stage and obtained 3 treasures, so why should he worry? On the way to the city of Ron in the forest, they met several guys who were trying to kill the monster. At first, the guys paid attention to the cart, but after all, they decided to kill that monster, because for him, they could get something in their city. After the advent of the new era, the old monetary system collapsed, and the government has not yet issued a new currency, so everyone uses barter. Before this, Kai was not interested in such things, but now he can acquire something from the city. Therefore, Kai asked Olivia if there were any cities on the way. Olivia said that there were 2 roads ahead leading to the city of Ron and 1 leading through Xing County. Kai said that it didn't matter where he was going, as long as Emily didn't find out about it, but he assumed that she had some other means of communication. He said that he would walk around Xing County and then continue on his way. Everything would be fine if Emily failed to send any messages. After he knocked Emily out, Kai asked Olivia how long it would take to get to Xing County. Olivia replied that if they hurried, they would be there in half an hour. With a sharp blow, Olivia made the horses hurry up, but the guys kept asking them not to be so cruel to them. And soon they arrived in Xing County. There were no screaming animals, no riots, and even soldiers guarding the main entrances to the city. At first glance, it seemed that this was a safe place for people. From the posts on the forum, one can understand that the commander-in-chief trains the soldiers well, and in principle, the situation here is not bad. Kai climbed out of the cart with his head and asked Olivia if Xing County was being guarded by the initial element cultivators. Olivia said that the master was very funny. How could there be so many initial element cultivators here? In such a county, it would be a surprise to meet even one. Kai wondered if entry-level cultivators were rare here. Didn't that mean he was powerful? People looked at Kai and Olivia's carriage and said it looked great. Why didn't they think of moving this way before? Kai was surprised that in this city there are no idiots trying to steal their cart. Although it looks flashy, the order here is at its best. By chance, Kai's gaze fell on some grandfather, who was behaving somehow strangely while putting some object into his cloak. He started calling him Grandfather Director, as if he recognized him, but did not understand what this grandfather was doing here. The action took place 16 years ago. In general, Kai was an orphan, and he grew up in an orphanage called Radiance. Kai was then sitting on the sand and drawing with a stick, when suddenly a man approached him and asked if he was drawing again, after which he asked why Kai should not go and play with the rest of the children. Kai asked his grandfather if his drawing was beautiful. His grandfather replied that his drawings would get better and better. In the future, he would become an excellent artist. After these words, grandfather took out a pack of pencils from his pocket, saying that a good artist should have good supplies. Kai said that if it weren't for his grandfather, the director, he would still be drawing in the sand. Finally, after these memories, Kai decided to call this grandfather. After several seconds of misunderstanding, grandfather finally recognized Kai. Kai quickly jumped off his cart and asked his grandfather what he was doing here. Grandfather said that he was here at the beginning of a new era, after which he decided to ask about his girlfriend, because she looked very beautiful. Kai knew that the orphanage was hundreds of miles away. In UA City, all government structures were destroyed. How did he get here? When Olivia called Kai master, Grandpa didn't understand what was going on. Kai calmed him down and asked if he needed food. But the grandfather immediately covered the guy's mouth with his palm and told him not to say anything about resources outside the city, especially about food. After that, grandfather invited Kai to his home. Kai agreed, but also remembered that Emily was sleeping in the carriage, and no one knew how long she would sleep. So he turned to Olivia and asked her to come up with something so that Emily would sleep another day. Grandfather advised Kai not to use the cart anymore, because it is very flashy, and now that a new era has come, danger is everywhere. When they were talking with Kai, grandfather noticed the guards of the city walking in front of him. He turned sharply in the other direction and covered his head with his hood so that they would not recognize him. Kai wondered what was going on here. Grandfather said that everything was fine. They just had to go through this alley. But Kai saw that grandfather was behaving somehow strangely. Was he really afraid of these soldiers? On the way home, grandfather and Kai met a large number of children playing with each other. It turns out that all these children know grandfather, and as soon as they saw him, they immediately ran up to him. The children were very hungry. They were very happy that they would finally be able to eat. But grandfather said that today he had brought pancakes for them. Seeing this whole sad situation, Kai wanted to help them. He asked Olivia to bring the fruits that they had. Olivia did just that. She brought several boxes of fruit. When the children saw them, they began to be incredibly happy. Taking the apple, grandfather did not understand where Kai got them from, because with the advent of the new era, they were in incredible short supply. But Kai said that they were simply given to him. But the grandfather said that most likely the fruits given to him were also stolen. Suddenly, 2 guards stood behind them and began accusing them of stealing these fruits. Grandfather said that everything was wrong, after which the guard asked where this bag of flour and lost toys came from. In response, the grandfather said that after the beginning of the new era, all toy stores closed. So he thought that. Before he could finish speaking, the guard said that recently there had been chaos outside the district. But a couple of days ago, the inspector had given an order banning theft. The guard said that of course they respect him, but he brings them a lot of problems, so they must follow the law and punish him. Kai understood that after the advent of the new era, everything was in short supply, so his grandfather had no choice but to steal. After this, Kai asked the guards to take into account the difficult situation and the presence of orphans and mitigate the punishment, and Kai would pay for what he stole. Following this, the guard asked who this guy was and replied that he was one of those raised by this grandfather. After the guard asked if he had brought these fruits, Kai replied that that was exactly what it was. The guard agreed. He said that if he paid, then they should follow them. They would hire an inspector, and they would sort everything out. Grandfather was incredibly sorry for dragging Kai into this, but Kai said that it was nothing and there was no need to worry about it. Kai asked Olivia to stay here and watch the cart, but she replied that it would be safe because she had cursed it and no one would be able to approach it. After Kai realized that it would be easier for him to cope if Olivia went with him, he agreed for her to come with him. On the way, he met people who were running away in horror from somewhere. He did not understand why this was happening. But the guard said that it was nothing. The guards just noticed monsters near the city, and they are most likely attacking them now. Attacks like this happen every 2-3 days here, so as long as it's not a level 1 warning, there's no need to worry. Kai asked when the first level warning occurs in this case. The guard replied that when leviathans attack, although the chance of this is extremely low, such monsters appear in densely populated and large cities. Since they were in a small town, it was a relief for Kai, but he hoped that nothing like that would happen while he was in this town. Immediately after these words, an emergency was declared in the city. Kai didn't know what extreme danger was, but the guard told him that extreme danger was the same as level 1 alert. Kai was shocked by such an incredible coincidence of events, because they had just talked about how leviathans do not appear in such small towns. The guard ordered the other guards to gather everyone in the fortress, after which he turned to the guys and said that they could forget about the director's business. Now they should go to the fortress with them. This fortress was located outside the town of Sin. When they were already approaching the fortress, all the soldiers were already preparing to defend the city. Kai was pleasantly surprised because such huge guns were built specifically to fight such monsters. The guard said that they could only fit 6 cannons on each turret, making a total of 18 cannons in total. Afterwards, he told them to go inside. Given that Kai has a cart, servants, and a lot of food, he understands that he is an unusual person. While they were walking in the direction they needed, the guard tried to ask Kai for his cultivation level. Kai said that the outside of the building was very strong, but inside it looked like a factory. This amazed him. On the way, they met some soldiers in an unusual uniform. The guard said that this was their new model of military uniform, but it was in limited quantities, so only cultivators at the key refinement stage and above could wear it. When Kai looked up, he saw a huge object outside, more like a weapon. He was told that it was an accumulator tower that accumulated spiritual energy between heaven and earth.